Today's video, we're going to be teaching you how to make a preset in Lightroom, so stay tuned. How's it going, everyone? We are back with another fantastic video for you, and in today's video, as mentioned, we're going to be teaching you how to make a preset in Lightroom. You know, presets are an amazing tool that you should be utilizing in your photo editing process, especially as an entry-level photographer. You know, they can help alleviate some of the stress that I'm sure you're feeling. You know, I'm sure that right now you're probably feeling a little intimidated because you're trying to understand ISO, you're trying to understand f-stops, you're trying to understand the photo editing process, you're trying to understand Lightroom, Photoshop, and just being a better photographer in general. And so presets can actually help take out some of that stress, especially in the photo editing process. You know, I can say from personal account that I've used presets on countless photos, and I can even think off the top of my mind that there are countless photographers who I know of that have used presets, and some who have used these presets have become so good at making presets that they've actually decided to sell some of their presets online. That's actually something that I've considered doing, and to be honest with you, there's nothing wrong with using a preset on your photo editing process. I can definitely tell you that this is a stress reliever, and it can help cut down the time that you should be editing with your photos. And honestly, it can also save you money. Those three things, that alone can help you to be a better photographer, because it's going to increase your confidence as a photographer knowing that you have presets that you can use. However, before we get into the actual point of this video, I do want to give you a word of caution. Presets don't work on every photo. They don't. I've ran into several occasions where I've been editing photos for like a client, and I had presets that were already pre-made that I had made, and I went to use them on certain photos and they didn't work. And honestly, it was kind of frustrating, and I was a little bit bothered by it, a little bit bugged, but I knew that I could still, you know, go through each different setting and edit, or I could just make another preset. But I also want to encourage you not to delete that preset if you've already made it. You know, just because it doesn't work on one doesn't mean it's not going to work on another. It could work out even better on another if you just give it a chance. And so, without further ado, let's just get right into this, and we'll show you how to make that preset. So you're going to come over here to the develop side of the Lightroom Classic, and then at the very top you're going to scroll up to the left over here, and then you're going to click this little plus button. So when you click on this and hold it down, you have three different options. You have the create preset, the import preset, and the manage preset. Now obviously we want to use the create preset, and hopefully at this point you've already edited some of your photos and you're just wanting to save the settings so you can use the same settings in other photos. So go ahead and click on the preset, create preset, excuse me, and you're just going to title what your preset is going to be. So since this was taken in the springtime, I'll make this springtime preset, and just hit create. And then if you come down here, there it is, springtime preset. So I can go back and I can use this on other photos, which is going to save me a ton of time on that. Now, as I mentioned, presets don't always work for every photo. So for example, if we come over here to this photo, and if I was to say, well, let's try this Modern 3 number 1. That doesn't look good. It just looks blown out. She looks pale as the sky or as snow, in my opinion, and it just doesn't work. But if you come down here to the amazing picture preset that I made, it just makes it look that much better. It just brings out that color, it brings out the warmth in her skin, brings out the warmth in the leaves around her and in the environment around her, honestly. But that's just one example of how you just kind of have to play around with presets. And like I said earlier, if it doesn't work for one photo, it may work for another. Now, going back to what we were doing with creating presets, let's try to create another one. So this is another one that I edited, excuse me, and I want to create a preset on it. So we're going to hit that create preset button again at the very top to the left. You're going to click that plus button, and then you're going to hit create preset. And since this is taken in the summertime, I'm going to nickname this black and white summer preset. Now, you don't have to name this preset every time. I do that because it helps me to stay a little bit more organized. That's just how I am. You have your own ways of organizing them, but that's just what I do. So I'm going to hit create. And there it is. Black and white summer preset. And again, if I wanted to use this on another photo, I can easily come over here with that photo and I could click it and see if it worked. Now we're going to do this one more time just to make sure you got the gist of it, that you know what you're doing. And we're going to come right over here to this photo. So again, you will scroll all the way to the top of this left little column. And you're going to click on the plus button and then create preset. And since this was in a wooded park area, I will just name this wooded preset. And then if you scroll down, what do you know? There it is. It's going to make my job that much easier as a photographer in the editing process. Now, presets are an amazing thing to be using, and as you can see, I have several different presets that I have made over the years, and that is great. It gives me kind of a little bit more of a repertoire on how to make sure that I know that if I'm in a hurry and I'm trying to edit some photos, let's say for a client, that I can use one of these presets to help speed up the process. Now, for example, let's show you a few of these other presets and different photos. So we'll click on this one. And for this one, let's go with amazing picture. So that's what it looks like after the preset, but let me show you what it looks like with the preset. Well, sorry, without the preset, excuse me. So that's what it looked like before I clicked on that preset. But if I add the preset, it just brings out the color in that. It brings out the warmth. It brings out the detail, the lighting. So this is just another example of how presets can work for some photos, but may not work for other photos. We'll go to a photo that amazing picture preset may not work for. As you can see, it does work for it, but at the same time, her skin is a little orange. So you may want to go in there and just do some careful manual edits on the preset if you were to use this preset. Presets are an amazing concept, but before we continue on, if you are getting anything out of this, I would ask that you subscribe to my channel and turn on that bell so you can get all the notifications from me on upcoming videos. And to go along with that, I do have another video that I put out. It was the second video, I believe, on an easy Lightroom walkthrough. So if you haven't watched that, I'll put a link to that in the description below. But let's just continue on. I'll show you another easy preset that I made. And this one was for a photo that I took back in the winter time of around last Christmas. Now, here in the state of Utah, we get hammered when it comes to snow. Like for the past couple weeks, we've just been getting hammered when it came to snow. Maybe not as bad as Oregon or Texas, but we still have been getting hammered pretty badly. And so when I took this photo, this was around Christmas 2019, and honestly, this was an amazing shot, and so I felt like I needed to capture it. And as you can see, it looks a little faded, right? You can see their colors, but it needs something more. It needs more color, it needs more excitement, in my opinion. So I created a preset for it. So there you go. So as you can see, it really just brings out the detail and the color. You can see their skin looks natural, it looks warm. Even though they look cold, their skin looks warm. So let's do a side-by-side comparison. Well, I guess not side-by-side, but we'll look at it from what it looked like when I imported it to how it looks after the preset. So this is what it looked like if you remember when I imported it, and I showed you guys at the very beginning. Now this is what it looks like now. Complete difference. And that's why I say you should be creating multiple presets, because especially if you live in a state or a country that it gets snow, you're going to run into situations like this where you need a different preset. So honestly, in closing, I just want to take a few minutes and just talk to you about being a photographer and about utilizing presets in your photo editing process. Being a photographer is not easy, but it's so worth it and it's so rewarding. I've said this kind of thing before in previous videos. And honestly, if you have the talent, why not use it? Why not use it to bless the lives of others? To bless the lives of your family, your friends, and just the world. You know, you have the capability to improve, so stop comparing yourself to other photographers. Every photographer has had to start at one point or another. I had to start somewhere. If you think about that in the last video that I did, where I did the reaction video to Peter McKinnon, he had to start somewhere. I mentioned in a previous video before that, my older brother slash mentor, George, he had to start somewhere. The list can go on and on. So honestly, as a photographer, from one photographer to another, I'm telling you to keep going, keep practicing your photography, don't give up. You may get frustrated at times. I know I have gotten frustrated at times. But most importantly, stop comparing yourself to other photographers, because you will get there one day. You just gotta keep trying and you gotta put forth the effort that is needed. I will catch you guys on the next video. We'll catch you next time. See ya.